Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
On my mark, and let's go. Hi folks, and welcome to Blue Monday, the all live backup Monday today. Yes, I see our Norwegian friend Geir, hi, and Milovan from Ohio. You had a gig, was it last night or the night before? You just sent this great picture of all your stuff on the floor in the room you got back. Like, oh, it was worth it. Same with me, I had a gig last night as well. And my stuff is still on the floor in that room because on Wednesday I'm having another gig. So it's just not worth to just pack it down and everything. Just let it be there. It reminds me a little bit of this when I was touring much more, and it's like maybe a day or two between gigs and you have time to get home, but no way to pack down and all that. Same thing. Alright, so the concept for today is that I simply play loads of backup, and that you guys can just jam to it, and maybe ask me questions about some things that I maybe haven't explained well earlier, or let's see. So the first one we'll start off right out the bat is going to be the slow blues in E, just to warm up, and then we're going to be changing both keys and tunings, and I'll be using both open D and open G on some of the guitars, so just so that you know. Alright, so the guitar backups. Let's roll them, boys and girls. All right, that was the first one. And I'm already realizing that I just threw in some new stuff, which usually happens when you kind of play the same thing all over again, and then the ideas come, and then you all of a sudden play something different, which is what I almost always recommend everybody who I maybe teach, or when we have workshops and stuff, and on my guitar retreat as well. Just like play more than you think you should, and then you will all of a sudden find some new things. Because if you do something over and over again, you'll get bored, and I think it happens very naturally that you just find some new licks. So if I go back and try to rewind this, what I've done differently, that was basically the syncopations and some triplets here with my right hand, with the picking hand. So this like I repeat this bass, or sometimes you can just throw in the dissonant notes. They're quite okay. And then I also had this, let me see, the turnaround upwards. Sorry. This is something I've learned from Muddy Waters from the beginning, or Jimmy Rogers, whoever was the first to do that, because I think they played so much together, so they didn't want to play the same thing when they were about to do the turnaround. So I guess one of them went and the other one, and so on, which can also be done here. Or, and this is also, instead of playing this in the B chord, B7, I would just do this the same chord, but I emphasize the bass on the 6th string. Right. And then in the A, I went to this A9th chord up here. I'm kind of slightly out of tune. It almost sounds great. It doesn't matter. So if I go to kind of push it down here, and then I go back. So the syncopation and the way you kind of emphasize things are kind of jumping back and forth, and I don't know if this would maybe accompany the singing lines or somebody else playing the backup as well, or even soloing. I used to back up people when they play solo by going up and maybe meeting them on the same fret for a second, then I just go back to the true accompaniment, just like this I did. But this whole session today is about these small, very tiny nuances when you play this backup, which means that if you listen carefully to how long I keep this chord, this A9 here on the, so basically it's a A bare chord on the 5th fret, and then you would play the A chord like this as well. And I'd usually do that because the A open 5th string rings more than if you press it on the 5th fret on the 6th string. It's nice, it's okay, but listen to this. So it's breathing more. So I like to combine the big bass with something a little bit higher up on the neck. And I could have played the A7th on the 9th fret here if I were. And so on. But this with the A9, this 9th chord, it's and the 9th it's called because it's a 9th note in the A major scale. So it would be like a A would be the 9th, right? You see how lousy I meant its scales and all that, but I know I can recognize it. It's the 9th here. I think I've heard this in the blues context first from Brownie McGee. I think he put this through it somewhere. So the main arrangement thing with this is that you combine the big basses and the big chords with this and then just go back. But at the same time, I'm really pushing this and I'm keeping this chord and this. until the last millisecond before I have to go back to maintain the groove. And that gives it this kind of, okay, that's one way to do it. Maybe next time I will just play it short kind of version without any kind of sustain of that. Maybe I can demonstrate like a. This was a long one. Now let's do the short one. And I like these things, so I would usually maybe just do the whole turnaround, the whole chorus with kind of these shorter licks, like a staccato, like not keeping them for a long time. And maybe in the next one I do the opposite. I think that would be a good arrangement solution for these things. Okay, what else was there? This is already explained in one of the previous live streams, but it can be modified, it can be varied to like a. So all the combinations that are here. So you play the E7th chord here on the 4th fret. Right? And then you can release the first string. You can do that by itself, or you can combine it with the bass. And so on. So that would be this with the E chord. 20 minutes past. Good. Hello, Jimmy. Nice to see you, Abe. I forgot to bring you back, bring you guys up on the comment screen. I love doing that. It's so great. I can show that I, read it, what you wrote. It's not that I just don't watch at the chat. I have it in front of me, right next to the camera on my screen here. I had some questions from musician colleagues, mostly from the States and a couple of German buddies, and they wanted to know how this whole setup is made, the whole thing with live streaming from a living room, right, from my studio. So I might be doing a live stream about that, but it's not going to be on Monday. It's going to be on maybe some other weekday. We'll see. So we're still in E, and then I'll just do this a little variation of this. So it's the same slow blues in E, but let's just go back to the last week's live stream when I showed you this. And so on. So I'll do a couple of rounds of this because it's also a way of, if you play with somebody who's really straight at doing this, right, then a good variation of that could be that the other guitar player would do. Or to grab those notes on the treble strings, like a. So let me combine these two, and I'll give you some groove with that. So let's go. 2, 3, 4. So this was a kind of a sloppy groove or a sloppy execution, but the licks were okay. This would lead me to maybe think of, okay, maybe I could just start practicing on more concrete grooves when it comes to these grips and all that. Because if you think of, I know that Jimmy here has heard me play the Rule the Road by Jeff Muldaur from the Better Days. From the Better Days with the Better Days. Better Days in the, I think, early 80s or late 70s. Paul Butterfield, Jeff Muldaur, Amos Garrett was in the band. Absolutely amazing band. If you can look them up online, you're going to love it. They just played fantastic music. So they played this Rule the Road. Let me just tune up. All right, so the Rule the Road lick would be like a... Oh, something... Standing by the highway. So that would be the lick from that song, but they started the other way around. It was like a... And then the lick... So what we do here is that we go from the and so on. So what I did here is you can syncopate this rhythm very nicely with like maybe just hanging on that bass as long as you can, and then do the turn to this seventh of E. Let it ring, and then I have these, all these notes are really suitable here, and you can fool around with them. Sometimes you can play only these bass strings like this, and then you can combination of these, and then just like a hanging on the and then you change and all that. So nothing of this is like written as the lick that should always be played the same way or the way I did it here, because the inspiration for this actually came from my friend David Hunt's live stream when he played the piano, and I told about this in the previous live stream last week. It was like, yeah, I could show this on the guitar because I used to play that stuff, right? So it was inspired by that, and then I got into this, and last week I played it very straight, but already now, the second time I would kind of go into that groove, it was just, whoa, okay, let's fool around a little bit. So I even took some risks, I made some small mistakes or whatever, but the groove was just going and rolling, so it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're muggles. We just play for fun. Thank you kindly. Well, actually, we were kind of imitating what they did with, I think they had 2 guitars on that. Anyway, so Peter Joe, my harmonica player, and I, we tried to do this version of kind of all in one. But I had the help of the great harmonica player, so he could really, really swing behind all this groove. It was great. Rain. Yeah, we don't live so far away from each other, and it was raining all day here as well. It wasn't fun. No. But I actually didn't go out today at all. I was just sitting here working, recording, and playing guitar, preparing for this. It was cool. Oh man, we gotta go on. We got 5 grooves to go through. So the next one could be the shuffly groove. So basically all this but faster, but with like a different syncopation and different, of course, different groove. So maybe you can think like I'm Ready by Muddy Waters, Full of Dixie Muddy Waters. I'm ready. So I'll play that for a couple of minutes. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, and. Oh, I gotta do it faster. Here we are. This was cool. Yeah, okay, so what did I do here that was different from before? I used one of these licks in this as well. And then I did a syncopation on the E7th chord. Combination of chords, groove, chords, and groove. And one thing that I don't know if it's mine or I stole it from somebody, but I like to finish off the turnaround on the third, but played here, which is this G sharp note from, let's say if you play it on the third string on the first fret, but this note comes in a row of several notes that I go from the where did I put that? I forgot it now. That's right. If I go from in the turnaround, before the turnaround, sorry. So when I go from the B chord, and then I go to turn around, and so on. So that's right. So maybe if I show it slowly, so it's so I meet the big bass with the same note that I have on the third string on the first fret. But I like from right. So then the second one I did was I went to the E7 9th chord here on the 7th fret. And you can play that as a when the big bass is ringing all the time, basically as if you had a bass player who could just do right. But I kind of like to do it this way as well, that I just press the 6th string as well, so I play a play those notes with the big bass, and this is just a lick to go back to the, and so on. It's like a let's say if you would play the E chord on the 12th fret here, which is very high, so this is it's this. Every of the bare chords has this lick at the same place. If you're in A, it's this. Either of those just notes, the second and the fourth string, or if you 40 days and 40 nights, like Muddy Waters, right? That song. But that same thing, the same interval is also there in these forms of 7/9 chords, in this case E. Then you have these. In C. This is kind of a little bit of a orientation of where these licks are and where these notes are when you need them. So I did that in this backup, this, and then I went to the very straight backup in A. So I just went on with the fourth chord. And if you noticed, I've also used a lot of different dynamics when it comes to if I'm going to be using the nail of my thumb or not. This is something why that I really love when I'm playing without the thumb pick, because without the thumb pick you have like 2-3 different colors of your notes played with the thumb. It can be just like a with the flesh here from the side, right? But if I just angle the thumb a little bit more inwards, and I have the edge of the nail, and it's very easy to brush downwards with a kind of edge of the nail, and just kind of dose the whole thing of how much you want to really have it harsh, like a, this is very harsh, right? But if I just tone it down a little bit and angle it, I don't know, it's a millimeter or something, and then you get this. This is kind of Mans Lipscomb style of big bass pumping and all that. And of course it can be done with a thumb pick, and I've found my ways to maybe imitate this when I'm playing live, because it's a totally different physics of the, you know, your guitar tone when you're playing through the pickup and through the PA and everything. So I kind of find my ways, but this is magic when you play acoustically, and you can really play the same bass line in 3 different ways. So if I would just go to this, brushing it nicely, so it can really get like tough without having to press too much, or to kind of pick the strings harder, which would maybe make them go out of tune. When you the more the string vibrates, especially the basses, they would just go wow, 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 wow. It's not what you want, but it's like a, and then this wonderful combination of heavily damped basses, but at the same time you play with the edge of the nail. So it's soft one, and I combine it very often. I really recommend everybody to just try this, to combine with a kind of a little explosion of the notes on the treble strings. This. Let me show it slowly. It's like a, this note, I don't pick it just like this. I just kind of dig under the string and just pluck it like this, maybe almost towards like this. Or, yeah, any combination of those notes. So it's just going from A to E. Good. All right, let's change the groove. Let's change the tuning. I'll go into the open D. Where's my guitar there? So there was this song in the beginning of 80s, I think mid 80s, or whenever Ry Cooder recorded it. Every woman I know is crazy about it on a mobile, and there was this groove that I really liked. It was a resemblance of a little bit of New Orleans, a little bit of kind of rocky style and everything was like a and that's when I kind of discovered how I could play this when I'm solo, right? Maybe I'll need the slide for this, and maybe not. I'm not sure. This is going to just be the backup, but as I said before, you can play your backup with slide as well. All those chords can be grabbed with the slide as well. So right. So the groove of, let's say, that song, maybe we can just take that as an example of, okay, where would this fit, or what kind of groove can this be? So the Crazy About an Automobile would go, oh, let me just maybe turn the, this is called active adjustment of the different guitars. Right, because there's a reason why this guitar is hanging a little bit lower than the other one, because if I play slide, especially on this guitar, I usually put it a bit more angled like this, which if I move it's like this. So this way is fantastic to reach the high notes easily, especially on the guitar like this, when you don't have 12 frets to the body, you have 11 3/4 of the frets, and then the 12th fret is a little bit inwards here. And the reason for that is that these continental German guitars, they were made in the beginning of the 90s. This is from 92, I think, 91 and 92. And they were made exactly as the originals from 1927, when the tricones, the Style 1, came out. And they didn't have the 12th fret here. The new, let's say, National guitars, they have the 12th fret right where the neck meets the body. Right, so let's say, to the point, Mac, to the point. So, every woman I know, she's crazy about an automobile. Every woman I know, she's crazy about an automobile. And I don't want to play longer because you never know when YouTube is going to give you the copyright strike or something when you play other people's music for a longer kind of period of time within, no matter if it's a live stream or just a recorded video. It's allowed to do the kind of lesson on a song, or comment, or do the review of a song, and then just maybe play a part of the original. It will be okay. But if you just go and play for like, I don't think even 1 or 1.5 minutes would be enough sometimes, that they just cut you off, either in the middle of the whatever you're doing, or they would just put your video down. All right, so I'll just play you this groove as the backup, and I'll combine it with some chord shapes with the slide, and let's see how it goes. So the groove in open D. 1, 2, 3, 4. like that. So what was all this? It was like whatever I was doing with the backup licks, I was always keeping the bass going at least in the background. Maybe not the lick was. So it's always this. With this guitar, the specialty is that you don't have the possibility of really dampening because you can't reach the saddle. So you can kind of fake dampen a little bit here, very close to the cover plate, and then you can get this. Yeah, I really need to dig with my my hand here, almost underneath a little bit. But anyway, this bass is kind of going all the time with. So it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's. This took me a couple of years to kind of master so that I can really fool around with it and sing on top of it without thinking and accompany my harmonica player, because we were always just the two of us on the stage, and we did very seldom we maybe jammed with somebody else, or especially not with these songs, because they had this progression that's not really common. It's not a 12-bar blues. It's got this twisted kind of B minor in between, and then the A. This whole groove is so majory. It's, I mean, the chord is really clean, not so many sevenths. Maybe I threw in the seventh here on the fourth chord instead of going. I played that chord down here as well, but then I threw in this seventh on the third string, the note F. Okay. You're gonna fly through the seventh. You go to. If I would like to play this naked, it would be like this. So what I throw in here is the ringing, like a drone of the first string open, and then the bass. Whenever I have the moment to play it, I'll play it. It's like a. So I pick the fifth string, third, and the first almost all the time, and then I just throw in the basses. As well. And then I had this little lick to come to the B minor, because the whole B minor is here. Just need to press the second fret of the second and the fifth string, and then the chord A. A7 here, and then. So the whole thing with this groove is that you either play the bass first, kind of syncopated note just before the beat, or you play the open string. And these, again, nuances, just would you throw in that maybe people don't even recognize or they don't even register it, but they feel it because it's a groove. So if I just glide to the fourth chord, but before that I would play open second and the first string, and then cut it off and just play the lick. And then, so I kind of throw in this. This is Robert Johnson from Rambling on My Mind, if you remember. I got rambling all on my mind. Now I got rambling all on my mind, and so on. So that's where I heard this for the first time. It's shit, this is so dissonant. It's so fantastic. And then I kind of just threw it in my bag of licks. And usually when I play open D, I will find a way to throw in that. So in the kind of Crazy About an Automobile would be a lot of droning, ringing there all the time, and then dampening the rest of the strings. And basically that's it. And there's this this from my own lick when I play Mercury Boogie, let's say, which is very similar in the groove to this one. So I just go from open strings, second and fifth, and then. And so on. So this can also be played. That's right. That's right. I threw in these basses as well. So if I go to B minor, and then I go on with or any combination. Or now I just want to play this all evening. Like, whoa, such a great groove. Yeah. All right, I gotta go to the chat for a second to see what you guys are saying. Love Rye, of course, we all do. Rye Cooter is the treasure of Americana. So many fantastic records, and man, he's the house god, as we call it here in Sweden. He's good. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna grab me because I'm such a micro channel. I just got to like 300 subscribers during the weekend, I think, which is still amazing for me. I mean, those big YouTubers got, you know, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and there are some guitar channels that are really, really enormous. They do fantastic stuff and have so many followers. But I'm just kind of starting off. I just did it since January, so it's, yeah, taking it really easy. And I'm so happy that I have 300 people who really want to know when I'm doing stuff and all that. It's great. All right, I gotta ask you something. How many are we here in the stream? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 likes. Please click the like button. Maybe YouTube will like me more and push my videos to other people as well. Thank you. So So, Smart Solutions by Mr. Dunmar. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a solution. That's cool. Yeah. All right. Good. So we did that in the. Now we're going to go to the open G, or just your G chord, maybe with a capo on the 3rd fret, and then just go on from there. One more thing, just let me know, what do you think if I would do sessions like this, a kind of once a month? Let's say the last Monday of every month would be like this, the all backup day. I'm not sure I'll be able to pull it off, some really new stuff every month or something like that, but maybe that we just kind of grab it as a co-practicing thing, that I just do my stuff and you follow along and play with me, maybe in the live stream, maybe afterwards, so people can get a lot of practicing kind of inspiration maybe for the future. Let's see. Here's my banjo guitar. It still sounds so banjo-y because of these new fresh strings. Maybe I'll just pour some water on them to get a little bit rusty so they won't ring this much. So I really need to be careful when I play this because of the slide is okay, like a, but as soon as I play with a nail, it's really this, I don't know, I mean, I love the guitar. It's one of my absolute favorites. I have 3 favorite guitars. The first one is the Sandon, Mikael Sandén, my main acoustic that I always play. And it's just it's a product of heart from my side and his side. It was just according to what I wanted to have, both when it comes to shape and the depth of the body and materials and everything. So it's my main guitar. And then the second one is the baritone, because I love that deep tone of it, everything. But this one is the third, strong third place. It's just fantastic. It's a little killer. So let's think rock and roll of the mid-50s. Think Jerry Lee Lewis, think Chuck Berry, whoever. I even played my own version of Rattlesnake and Daddy as in that groove, kind of rocky. But this is great because you can really syncopate so nicely. So let me just give you a couple of rounds of this backup and then I'll explain what I was doing there. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. okay. So this was kind of in the middle of playing this, I was like, wait, this sounds very similar to kind of Crazy About an Automobile, which is kind of this kind of rocky groove, whatever, but maybe I could have divided these two in the beginning and in the end, or whatever. But I wasn't thinking that deep. This is supposed to be kind of improvising stuff. But anyway, some of the stuff here is very different from the previous groove in open D, because you have more basses here. So the fifth chord, the D, has got this big boomy bass, and I have this it's kind of almost like a scale that I play when I go from G to D in the, and I just go on with a new chorus. So what I do here is like so it's still kind of syncopated, but it is a scale. So if you syncopate, right? So the last is this little explosion of. It can be done that way, or you can even put some more thrills. So the first and the last one. And then I also went, again, these thirds that I love so much. So it's in the D chord, I go to this. And in the G open, I have the drone note on the third string, which is G note. And I also threw in this kind of Chuck Berry-ish so it's just bending the sixth string to the, so you go to the note on the fifth fret, which is G, right? And you just meet that bended note with the open G string, the fifth. Then I also did this kind of, whatever you can do to kind of create a little bit of tension, or I also do this. There's a lot of ringing notes, a lot of. This is from the turnaround, right? And so on. So, and then I went to the same lick that I showed you in standard tuning when we had this E 7th 9 on the 7th fret. So in open G, it's very nice. This is the way I play 40 Days and 40 Nights. Then I just kind of have the whole chord. Yeah, that's it. So I guess I showed you everything I did in this in open G. So what we have left as a backup, and let me just look at the watch. We're way past the hour. I don't know where the time goes. I guess I'm talking too much. Yeah. But we'll finish it off with a Kansas City Blues groove in standard tuning, E. All right. Thanks for coming, guys. And hello, son. Nice to see you again. So, Kansas City Blues. Let's all move to Kansas City. Yo, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Let's take it home one more. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging with me and coping with me for more than an hour. All backup day. I hope it was fun. It was fun for me. Nice practicing session. Warming up for the coming gig on Wednesday. I'm doing a local gig here this week. It's gonna be fun. Okay, so I hope I'll see you all next week. And let me just greet you with a bye-bye song, Sitting on Top of the World, with Sammy Mitchell, of course. Yeah. All right. Have fun, everybody. Thanks for coming.
And it was in spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Things could call me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. I was in spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting